Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. In this episode, I'm going to talk about things to do before you die. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast, owner of PutYourselfFirst.com, and I'm a health and fitness coach and love to motivate people. And we're going to talk about things to do before you die today. But you might notice a little bit of a different setup if you're on the video. I have invested in some podcasting equipment because of you guys out there who have requested that I have my files out there in iTunes through an audio podcast, because a lot of times people like to listen to a car or when they're walking around or just doing things around the house, and you don't have the time to just kind of sit there and watch the video. Now, for those of you that still want the video podcast, I'm going to do that. A lot of times with the video, I'll put in some extra video clips. Maybe it's the scenery that I'm at, or maybe it's the activity I'm doing. I'm going to do a little clip in here today. But for those of you that are on the audio, you'll get the gist of it, and I'm so glad to do this. And a big shout out to my new friend, Pat Flynn, out there. He is a Smart Passive Income podcast out there, and been just learning a lot about podcasting from him. But today we're going to talk about things to do before you die. And many people create this thing called a bucket list. And, these are things to consider before, consider to have if you want. I mean, should you have one? I guess that's a big question. I never really had one before. It was kind of one of those things you always had in your mind. I mean, a lot of times people think of a bucket list of things to do before you die, because they want to experience these things before they kick the bucket, so to speak. And I think people have a list in their head, kind of like I did, but then things get forgotten or they just fade away because, heck, life happens. Life comes up with stuff. Life has distractions. Life has obstacles like schedules and responsibilities and deadlines, etc. And, I have to say, once I started writing things down, it's kind of cool. Just this week, I checked off one of my bucket list items, and it was to take a ski lesson. Now, for some of you out there, you're probably big skiers, and you're like, that's not a bucket list item. I did that when I was 3. But for me, it was never something that was really on my radar. It's something that had been offered to me several times, but I never really wanted to do it. And I actually did it yesterday, and while it was awkward, I got better and better with practice, and it was something that I could come home and go, yes, you did that. It wasn't something I was scared or intimidated by, but it was something I wanted to do. Back in 2009, my girlfriend, I'm now married to her, my wife, she got me this book of things to do before you die. And what I thought was really cool, and here's kind of the magic, even before I share some of these things, here's some of the magic. I wrote a little list like this that I posted on my refrigerator back at the beginning of 2009. And I couldn't believe, some of them seemed far-fetched for me because many of you might know that I lost my wife back in 2003 to a car crash, and it kind of changed my life around through exercise and getting healthy and fit and taking control of what I could control. And I literally wrote off, I wasn't going to date again. I wasn't going to get married again. I was just going to be content with life and happy as is. But something gnawed at me probably about after 5 or 6 years to just maybe you'll go on a couple dates. So I wrote down on here, go on at least 3 dates. That was in 2009. Another one was to zero balance out my credit cards. Another one was to complete a round of P90X. I was doing that anyway, so I don't know why that became a big thing. And another one was to retire from teaching. To tell you the truth, I mean, why these aren't bucket list items, I found this in my bucket list book just seconds ago. The 3 dates ended up being the lady that I ended up marrying. So that was pretty cool. I did end up, because of that relationship and opportunity, I was able to resign from teaching. And I think I did P90X in there somewhere. But it was just really, really cool. You got to write things down, because if you just think about them, they kind of go away. Um, so with my list, I'm just going to share a couple things that I think are pretty remarkable in here. Not everything will I ever get to, but there are things I want to do. And for this particular book, and you can go out and you can Google and do search for lots of different lists out there. But just some of the things you kind of got to go back and reflect on some of these things. Buy season tickets to an NFL team. Now, I have my beloved Packers out there. I know me getting season tickets to that place is probably near impossible. That will take many lifetimes in the future. But maybe another NFL team. Another thing I had written down was to actually go to a home game in every NFL stadium. I thought that would just be kind of cool. But other ones would be like, to brew my own beer. I mean, these don't have to be big. They can be small, but they can be things that are important to you. One thing was to explore spirituality more for me. Another one was just to learn to speak Spanish. And I've dabbled with it a little bit, but I just haven't done it or committed to it. Another one, if you want to have contribution, I mean, I've done contributions to dog rescue and other things. But here's a few tips to create a things to do before you die list, or a bucket list if you want to call it that. First, I think, is to strive to experience something every day, every week, every month. Because I'm gonna tell you what, we cannot wait for the right moment to experience life, and we've got to take advantage of those moments right away. I look at the instant passing of my late wife, and she accomplished many great things. Could she have accomplished many more things? Sure. But it just lets you know that your life is short, and things can change in an instant. So you want to take advantage of what you have, the right now, the things you can do today. And I know it's really easy to get into the day-to-day mundane things that we have around work, house, chores, things like that, little responsibilities. So strive to experience something every day, every week, every month, every year. Write down your list. That's big. And I know there are going to be some of you watching out there or listening going, yeah, someday maybe. But there's power in writing it down. And so life is short, and it's easy to just let the days go by and by. You know what? A lot of times I message people and just check in. Almost knee-jerk reaction. People, oh, I'm busy, overwhelmed, stressed, no time for anything, and life is just flying by. And you've got to explore outside the daily routines of life. And, I fall into that from time to time too, and I catch myself. But what things should go on your list? I've got things in my book, and they've got different categories. I mean, I've got some travel stuff. I'd love to go to the Mediterranean. I think going to South America would be really cool, even Central America, and outside of Mexico. Just to maybe even go to a wine tour. But things to contribute, things that you dare to do. Oh my gosh. Even one of them I'm just seeing right now, own 2 timeshares. I do. Wow. I didn't know that I had put that down, and that actually came to fruition. I can check that off. Resolve. What sort of things do you need to resolve? What are some things that I have here that it says, and I'm looking in my book here, savor. Things that you should savor in life. And you know what? One of the things that's on the top of my list is photos. So often we experience things and forget to take photos. And now our phones make it really easy to get photos and all that stuff. But those things, I mean, that can be just, those are the experiences. Those capture the experiences for you. I've got artisan chocolates, wineries and breweries. I see a theme here. Sightseeing, wildlife, scenery. It's just really pretty incredible. So what are things that you want to do? Places that you want to go? People that you want to meet? Contribution. Is it leaving a legacy? Just know this, there's always going to be things in your life that are going to compete for your time and energy. And having this bucket list or things to do before you die list, it's going to give you the direction for when those distractions come. Okay, and they're going to come. Use the items on your list to keep you focused. Make an effort to accomplish something small each day, week, month. And as you're getting these down, come up with your why. What do you want out of life? This is your purpose, your why. And you should ask yourself these questions with each goal or each thing that you write down. Why do you want that? What is it? Take time to reflect on the purpose, on your purpose, and sit down and write out the answers to these questions. And those are going to keep you motivated when times get tough, and times will get tough. And there will always be an excuse to put that big dream or that big bucket list item on hold. Think about your list, and that's what's going to remind you of your why. It builds excitement in your life. And going back and reviewing, I don't go back and review this enough, but go back and review your list. It's a great way to re-energize yourself. And a lot of times, I'm in the health and fitness world, and a lot of times people reach a goal or a benchmark and they want to reward themselves. And I tell themselves not to reward themselves with food. Reward yourself with a bucket list item. How about that? Okay. You're leveraging the law of attraction. It's something that I thought, law of attraction kind of sounds hokey or something like that. But when I started experiencing some of these things, especially as I'm writing them down and giving thought and just kind of sending it out there, and things can pull into place, especially if I take action on them, that can happen. And it adds to building your legacy. So what is it that you want to do? I encourage you to use Google. There's also some groups out there that communities that are built around the bucket list and the things to do before you die sort of thing, and absorb yourself in those communities, or at least help you brainstorm some ideas. They could be big things, small things. What is it? To go see the Northern Lights, to check out the Grand Canyon, go on a safari, maybe travel Italy. Maybe for some people, it's just to go horseback riding, or for me, like it was skiing the other day, or adopting a child, or just raising a happy, healthy child, checking out the Amazon, or finding love in your life. Going to Greece, going to the Mediterranean. Another one that I thought of is I'd love to see, for whatever reason, Machu Picchu has come up in a lot of images lately on my my searches and stuff like that. That might be a sign. Is it to maintain an ideal weight, or just be in good health, good shape, feel comfortable in your own skin? Go zip lining, go on a cruise. Whatever it might be. Maybe it's celebrate New Year's Eve in Times Square. Get a passport and travel to another country. Lots of different things. You can be creative. Maybe it's just to contribute to a rescue or an organization you believe in, or to start a foundation. Those things you can get on there. Be creative. Write it down. Go for it and live it up. Live life with no regrets. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do out there, to have yourself a bucket list, accomplish some really great things. It's, as I think about it, it's stuff, the reason behind a lot of stuff is it's bringing you joy. It's bringing you happiness. It's bringing you freedom. It's bringing you fulfillment. You get into those really deep core things. While they might sound selfish, it's really putting yourself first. It's the spice of life, right? So anyway, I thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode. And, for those of you watching the video recording, I know it's a little bit longer, but that's way okay. And if you're looking to jumpstart your day and get your morning mojo done and going, and really, I'm into health and exercise, and a lot of people struggle with the health and exercise consistency. I have a new mini course out there that can help you do just that. And it's a great way to actually put yourself first. Actually, I called the course Put Yourself First. Clever, right? Just visit the website course.putyourselffirst.com, and you can access everything. That's course.putyourselffirst.com. Check it out. I hope it works for you. You can message me, and we can comment and interact there below, or interact on that site. I hope you have an amazing week, and feel free to message me or comment below if you have any input on today's episode. I bet you do. And thank you for subscribing and heading over to the iTunes store, maybe giving a crazy cool 5-star review. That would absolutely rock. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.